To those of you joining us today, thank you for watching the Woburn Spotlight. I'm your host, Tyler Gates, here to bring you some positivity by talking to those in town, making big strides for the greater good. Today I'm fortunate to have with me a repeat guest, Sean Page from Signature Page Real Estate. Sean, thank you for joining us.
Tyler, always a pleasure.
Oh, I'm happy to have you come back on. Good friend of mine, and I know we have a lot to talk about in the Woburn market and beyond.
Yeah, I think so. Let's start it up.
All right. So for anyone that doesn't know Sean Page, I'm fortunate to know you at this point. But why don't we spend a second just telling us a little bit about you and a little about your company.
Yeah, the Signature Page, that's me. Sean Page here. I'm a Woburnite. I was actually just finding myself roaming around these halls at the beautiful, I can't call it new Woburn High, but to me it still is Woburn High because I was the last class in '03. So that kind of gives you my age a little bit. But I started Signature Page Real Estate a few years ago. We have had tremendous success. I've been in the business now for about 10 years. Something I kind of just graduated and gravitated to, and I found myself just taking the next step year after year after year, and just got to a point where it was just time to kind of build my own brand and do things the way I thought I needed to do them. So we have planted our roots here in Woburn, been here for the last few years. We're surrounded by a couple of the big power players here in Woburn too. And we do really good. You know, we find ourselves with a lot of interesting properties and unique situations in Woburn and outside Woburn. So whether you're here or outside of Woburn, we spread ourselves out.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. And what I've loved about you is the entrepreneurial spirit. And one thing that I was really kind of fond of when I first met you and I really liked about you is you really have a good relationship with your mentors and the business that you came from in real estate as well. They help groom a lot of what you do and how you do it in the real estate market. Is that fair to say?
That's great. You know, there's never going to come a day where I don't stop learning. If that day ever comes, then I'm either A, foolish, or I'm ready to retire.
That's fair.
So I've taken that from day one, and you know, from George and Carol Woods at Woods Real Estate and Bill Ricker, who I love dearly so much. I learned so much about compliance in the real estate business, and then I learned so much about building and construction as well too. And from there, I've gone on to meet some other tremendous people, and I certainly come from the playbook that we need to build friendships and colleagues in this business. Although it sometimes feels like we're playing against each other when we're in the middle of a negotiation, I think the best way to get a deal together is bringing like-mindeds together.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So at Signature Page, how long have you been on your own, or when did you branch out?
Well, the Signature Page is my second venture here, actually. I'm going off on my own. Originally started with a partnership at a different branch, and then about 3 years ago, I decided to go off on my own, build my own brand, put my stamp here in Woburn and the surrounding towns. So we just completed year 3, actually, at Signature Page Real Estate.
That's fantastic.
We've had some tremendous success, specifically 2018. I really think we went over some sort of a hump, actually, and really put ourselves on the scene. So it's really exciting to see how the hard work over the last 3 years has come together, and now we can start working towards some newer goals here in 2019 and the future.
So I know it's never one thing that you do that sparks that life and that causes a great year. But what were some of the early things that you did that helped set the foundation for 2018 to be as good of a year as it was?
Well, you know what it was is I found myself doing more managerial and admin things in the beginning years, in the beginning months, I should say. Really just trying to root my brand, bring our name up so people recognized it and find business and groom other people underneath you too as well. Fortunately for me, I was actually able to take the leash off myself this year and get back out there and really be the broker that I want to be. I really truly enjoy being out there in the mud. I like to be a broker. I like to be a broker. I like to solve the jigsaw puzzle because that's how every transaction really appears to me as a big jigsaw puzzle, and no puzzle comes together the same way, of course. So it's just about finding the pieces and putting it together and problem solving. And so I found myself back out there on the streets this year, being able to do that, meet with people, having coffees with you, luncheons with her, and so forth. And really at the end of the day, for people that are thinking about getting into this business, I think it's really important they understand that this is a people-oriented business. So you really need to get in front of people. You need to build relationships, and you need to truly care about those relationships too. I find the people that find themselves just going to the office and sitting behind a computer waiting for the phone to call, they might not be the ones that can take their business to the next level. So
that's fair.
Yeah.
I think that's fair to say. So I guess before we dive too far in, the golden question nowadays is what makes you different? What sets you apart? I know from my standpoint, I could probably answer that.
I
for
was just
ya.
going to say, maybe you should answer that question, not myself. I really think it comes from within. It really does. I think when people meet me, and again, it's all about getting in front of people. I exude confidence in the sense that if you put me in front of a listing appointment against one or two other recognized brokers, there's a great shot I'm going to get that. And it's not because I'm maybe telling them something else, but I think it's just the passion that I show, and I exude the passion, and I truly enjoy the process. Small story from yesterday was, we were in a more subtle town, not Woburn, but I'm with a first-time home buyer, and he's a smart kid. But we got into a position where all of a sudden, first week on the market with a property, I'm trying to warn him that I really envision this property getting into a multiple bid situation. Now, I know what your comfort point is because we figured out what the game plan was going to look like from the front side. And it's very easy in that situation to become very emotional. You find something, you want it, you have to have it. And my job is now to be the voice of reason and not let the emotions overcome you. And I'm trying to remind this young gentleman who's a smart kid, remember, you're investing today. You're not buying, you're investing. And I think that's the thing is no matter what with the ups and downs of emotions going through a real estate transaction, whether it's on the hunt, going through a negotiation, or getting to the closing table, there's so many highs and lows for the clientele. And your job is just to find that middle ground. So what I've always compared myself to is a quarterback on a football team, calling the shots. That's
I'm laughing because I do that too.
But really, that's what it is at the end of the day. We're calling the shots, and we're just trying to put our clients in the best position for them to be successful now and into the future. And I'm happy to say, although it didn't result in a closing yesterday, I'm happy to say I was actually able to talk him out of putting a bid on that property because I saw it going to a point where it would exceed his comfort level.
Okay.
And that was actually rewarding to me.
Yeah.
While most people are sometimes just after getting the deal done, I'm after just giving good advice out to people. And I think people see that.
That's what builds a brand. That's what's going to separate a transaction from a relationship.
That's why I work with you.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. And, the plug from my standpoint, what makes you different, and I like about you is I know that you'll roll around on the floor with the kids and the dog, and you take that service to another level, which is, not as prevalent in our society as maybe it should be, like it used to be. But
you know what I'm excited about this week, Tyler?
Yeah, what?
This is the week before Christmas.
Yep.
I get to go around now and start knocking on doors. People I've done business with. I show up with a
Merry
little
Christmas.
signature page, gift, whatever it may be, whatever floats that person's boat.
Yep.
But they see me. I get to see them. I get to see how they're settling in maybe to their new home.
Yeah.
And I get to see the kids
Isn't
and
that
roll
awesome?
around with the dog.
I
and
knew
stuff.
that's what in my head separates you.
And that's fun for me. That
Yeah.
really is fun for me. That's what gets me up each day and makes me want to continue to keep doing that.
All right, let's dive in a bit, huh?
You got
because I was surprised. Well, I shouldn't be surprised. I don't know the real estate market. That's why I have somebody like you in my life. But you really kind of sectioned it off to 3 tiers at this point when you're thinking about maybe looking for a home for a client. And I don't want to go into that because I think I'm going to steer the wrong direction. So do you mind elaborating on how you're classifying the different levels of homes and some of the different trends that you might be seeing within those homes?
Yes, certainly. We're now in December time right now, and we're hearing all these spins about, the real estate market's changing. The real estate market's changing every single day, one way or another. But I think if you look at it from an overall spectrum, that's not necessarily just as true. We are still seeing a strong seller's market, and we're still seeing aggressive buying situations. If I'm in a little town like Ashland, or I'm in a city that's very demanding like Woburn, I'm thinking those first-tier homes, which are typically predominantly maybe your condos, your starter homes. Okay. Maybe those are homes in Woburn under $450,000.
So tier 1, the starter home.
Yeah, and by the way, I never thought I'd say under $450,000 was a tier 1 home in Woburn.
But that's where we are.
But that's where we're at right now. There is still an overwhelming amount of demand for those homes right now. We haven't been able in this real estate cycle to put all those folks into homes. We have millennials that are, young adults now that are looking to spread their wings. And we are seeing things like interest rate changes. They're climbing a little bit higher, more consistently than maybe they did in 2013, 14, and 15, and so forth.
Yep.
And that draws a bigger bigger issue for those first-time buyers because they're maybe not used to those interest rate hikes, which in the long run, and in hindsight, looking at what's happened to maybe our parents when they were our age, those interest rates
70% variable arm.
those interest rates were maybe 2 or 3 times what they actually are now.
Yeah.
So overall, we're still doing relatively strong there. But it all comes down to supply and demand. Now, as we start going into those second-level homes, those second-tier homes, which is maybe the second time you purchase a house. Maybe you're starting to settle down with family, you need a little bit more space.
Okay.
You want to be in that cul-de-sac or something. We're seeing the demand over there still high, but starting to soften up a little bit more. And certainly in our level 3 homes, the luxury homes,
Okay.
that obviously has a smaller demand just in general.
Fair.
But we're seeing a little bit more saturation with those homes, a little bit more inventory perhaps picking up, and that might in turn start driving prices down a little bit for those types of homes.
Okay.
But if I'm in Woburn right now and I'm with a first-time home buyer, you got to warn them. The market's still really hot for the property you're looking to buy right now. So you have to be aggressive, you have to be attentive, and you have to have good guidance, right?
Steer them in the right direction. I know
You got
will.
it.
So for spending with a little bit more time with that theme, because I think Tier 1 really hits Woburn home. And I know when I was looking 18 months ago, 12 months ago, I'd see the same 20 faces every single Sunday
Yep.
for 4 or 5 weeks straight.
The old rat race.
So you know the demand is still out there, or is out there, or was out there. It sounds like that's still happening.
Of course.
The competitive advantage of having somebody to guide you is huge. But what else are you telling those folks along the way to help them get into that dream home?
Be patient. Be patient if you have flexibility,
Okay.
okay? What I try to teach people is every single week, let's try to learn something new. Specifically for those Tier 1 home buyers,
Yeah.
specifically too as well. This is all brand new to them. So as much as it's exciting for you and you're ready to embark on the biggest investment of your life until this point right now, again, we want to be thinking with our investment cap and not our buyer's cap right there. So sometimes patience goes a long way. And I'm telling people right now, listen, there might be an opportunity that comes up. You might find a lull of a week. You know, we have Christmas week right now. You know,
If you're ready.
Yeah, if you're ready. You know, in certain areas, we might have an overwhelming amount of people that still want to buy in that area, but we also have an overwhelming amount of people that want to go spend time with their families.
Yeah.
But you know what? We still have sellers out there too as well. So we always try to find opportunity. And, you know, one thing too as well is we might start seeing more saturated properties. We have to look at things that are outside of our means as well too. Maybe we start taking a look at those properties that are just a tad bit above our price point, but they're starting to saturate themselves in the market. They've been on the market 30 days, 60 days, over 100 days and whatnot. There's an opportunity for you perhaps in there where we can find that needle in the haystack and bring the seller and the buyer together and find a mutual fit for each other.
Something that works for everyone.
And you might not have seen that in one of your, you know, your Zillow apps or your signature page app or whatever app you use
Yeah.
to search for a home.
Yep.
Because we know specifically with those millennials, it's all just one click and they get all the information they need. So I'm telling people, if your budget is right here, expand it a little bit more right now. Because I'm finding the longer that property sits on the market, it's going to start working in your favor a lot more. And sometimes you end up finding a property that was priced $80,000 above your price point initially, but you ended up getting it in your bracket because you had the patience.
Patience is key.
Yeah.
Patience is key. So for the search, you're definitely recommending expanding maybe the horizon. And it doesn't mean you have to buy. It just means you're open to opportunity when it presents itself. Is that fair to say?
Of course.
Okay.
And there's opportunities as well outside there that just aren't, you can't click on an
Right.
app to get those opportunities.
Takes a conversation.
It takes a conversation, a face-to-face, pick up a phone, go have a coffee with somebody right now. I know we're going to get into a couple projects here in
Yeah.
a little bit, obviously, but unless you have the inside scoop and the inside information in that contact, you're not going to know about opportunities that are going to come up. And trust me, I get it all the time. We're working our listing agreements right now for the springtime now. You know, 3-4 months ahead of when we'd actually probably list a property based on the seller's wishes and demands. That doesn't stop the sellers from telling me, hey, Sean, if you got a buyer now, I'd love to be able to put a sale together so we don't have to deal with the whole open house, big shabam and everything, too.
Right. Okay.
So talking to people and being involved in somebody's internal network that's on the ground looking for those opportunities, that goes a long way.
I bet it does. I bet it does. Well, that's good to hear. So I know we're going to segue into some of those homes, but I want to spend a minute, kind of deviate. You do a lot, not necessarily just in Woburn. You do a lot in Woburn, But one thing I really like is you do a lot for vets. And I don't want to get through the program and realize we didn't spend any time there, because I think that's important. I was really lucky, and I appreciate the invite to your toss for troops. What a fun day we had.
Great day.
And Wicked Cornhole made the best Edward Jones Investments cornhole board. That's a plug. I'll give a plug for Wicked Cornhole, because that was unbelievable.
They did a fantastic job.
They ran the show perfectly. I wanted to buy my own board at the end of the day. Like, I really did. But I thought it was good to auction off.
Well, it's funny when one of the people there actually won 3 cornhole boards, but she tells me her Edward Jones one is actually her favorite.
I hope she does. Like, it was a great one. So let's talk a little bit about what you do for vets, because again, I think it's really important. So you mind spending a little bit of time there?
Certainly, and I'll do another plug for Carol and George Woods. When I first started 10 years ago, the thing that they pride themselves on was the fact that they were veteran owned. Mm-hmm. And they did anything and everything for their veterans. And I got a chance early in my career to work with some veteran sellers, some veteran buyers, and understand the VA loan process. Mm-hmm. And I also found that it could be difficult for a VA buyer too as well. So I spent a little bit more time on the front end with those buyers, understand the system, and trying to figure out a way to make their offers potentially more attractive. Because with a VA, it's a great loan. It's a guaranteed loan, of course, for a buyer. But when somebody comes in sometimes and says, "Hey, I'm going to put 0 down," it sometimes leaves a bad stigma in a seller's mind. And so we have to get a little creative with those. But kind of getting off topic there, I apologize.
No.
Homes for Our Troops is our biggest beneficiary, which is down in Taunton, Massachusetts. Homes for Our Troops is building homes for wounded veterans from the Afghan and Iraq wars. They've done a tremendous job putting suitable homes and building them for wounded veterans and their families. From spending every dollar from top to bottom to ensure that they get the property that they need to live their life to its fullest. So when I got involved a few years ago, I was actually sponsoring the Andover Run for the Troops 5K. Mm-hmm. And that's when I really first started getting involved with veterans and trying to bring awareness to other folks and fundraising for them. From there, I met another tremendous partner of mine, Amanda Carroll in Tewksbury, who just came to me and says, "Sean, what do you think about building our own thing?" And I said, "That's a fantastic idea. What do you got in mind?" She says, "Golf's fun, but I'm seeing this cornhole thing really take off. And I got a great relationship with Bruce and Stacy over at Wicked Cornhole. And I think we should go sit with them and talk a little bit about what we can put together for them."
Yeah.
Long story short, we did. We loved Bruce's energy, Stacy's energy. We loved their product, and we've seen it come such a long way in 2 years here that they've been around. And the rest is really just history. We had a great turnout over at the Tewksbury Elks Club this past, August, I think?
Yeah. How many would you say? I would put a number at close to 70.
Oh yeah, we did a fantastic job. We had close to 55 teams with over.
Oh, you had 55 teams.
Yeah,
my 70 is an understatement.
We had close to 55 teams actually. We had over 300 people there at one point too as well.
I was so zoned in.
We were able to raise a great amount of money and bring awareness to the cause. I know Homes for Our Troops is extremely appreciative. So aren't we. And we're just excited to be able to build something grassroots and give back to those that have served us. Because at the end of the day, it's time for us to give back to those that put their lives on the lines for us, right?
I can appreciate that, and I'm glad that you do the work that you do.
Yes, sir.
And with the veteran theme, for veteran buyers, there's opportunity, and veteran sellers, if they work with Signature Page as well in the form of a closing cost. Am I fair to
we
lead
take
down that?
Absolutely.
I just want to keep with that theme because I know how much you go above and beyond for them.
100%. For our buyers, we work with specific lenders too as well that that will match what we do. We personally like to offer a $500 closing cost credit for those VA buyers. Yep. If you're matched up with one of our lenders, they'll also match that too as well. So that's $1,000 back in your pocket post-close. Okay. And we all know how expensive it is to buy a home, so $1,000 can go a long way right after you get the keys. And then, of course, we do stuff for our sellers as well, too. Yep. We reduce commissions. We do the same type of job we would for any home, too, as well. But at the end of the day, we want to put more money back in those pockets for them specifically because of all they've done for us. If I'm going to make a couple less bucks on a transaction, it's so worth it to make sure that they're happy at the end of the day.
Yeah, thank you for allowing me to deviate, because I think that was important that we touched on that, because you guys are doing a lot of good work in the community.
Thank you.
So we have a couple of opportunities to talk about Woburn, what we're seeing in Woburn for trends and maybe the greater Woburn area. And I know you've brought a really interesting photo of one of your passion projects that you've been working on. So let's segue right into this. For many people, they may know this home.
It's not a haunted house, I promise.
And I tell you what, you are going to love the after photo. So please, I'll let you have the floor.
Yeah, this is actually Tyler's predecessor, Edwin Walker, the great Edwin Walker, his home of many decades actually on Vernon Street. We purchased the property about 3 years ago. It was the haunted house on the street. I know a lot of the neighbors on the street, and I'll tell you, in the last couple months, I've gotten a lot of phone calls, a lot of text messages saying, thank you, that's not the eyesore anymore. So this is a great two-family home that we've taken our time on, actually. Not every project you just get in and out of. We certainly could have, but this is something where we took our time. We renovated one unit, which is the back unit, which is now a 4-bedroom, 2-bath.
Okay.
And then we've renovated the front side unit. We turned an oversized 1-bedroom into a 2-bedroom, 2-bath. And then, of course, this past summertime, we did the entire exterior over. Of course, you got the James Hardy board, which is such a great look for an old classic farmhouse. It's traditional meets modern. We re-insulated the entire house, new roof. We put a farmer's porch with the pillars in place. We built rear decks off of the right side and off the back side. We enclosed the fence. A lot of money was spent on this home to bring it back to its true value. But at the end of the day, this one means a lot to me because of who used to own this house, but of how much I was involved with that transaction. And just, of course, to hear all the appreciation from all of the neighbors on the street to see what this property's done. So this is a property which will be a real tearjerker for me personally, but it will be available in the springtime, again, completely renovated top to bottom, fully rented out at its max capacity, and it is going to be such a bear of an investment for somebody that is looking for a great cash flowing turnkey rental investment in Woburn.
Are we allowed to, at this point, say what street it's on?
Of course, yeah.
Okay.
We're on Vernon Street. Vernon Street, right around the
Vernon
corner
Street.
from us
Okay.
here in Woburn High. It's a great little side street that connects Green Street to Montvale Ave. And we have a lot of long-time Woburnites that live on that street, too.
Wonderful. That was a great photo. We have a couple more, so if we don't mind segueing a little bit further along.
Sure.
Okay.
Not the greatest pictures, and trust me, I won't be marketing this picture. But if you're looking for another great opportunity too, down by the Library Field Park area, and specifically for those Woburnites know how much of a hotspot area that is, specifically in the summertime.
Yep.
I mean, who doesn't want to have real estate in this area during Flag Day, so you're around all the fireworks and festivities that go on down there.
There's something to be said about that.
Of course, of course. So this is a stone's throw to Library Park right here. It's a single-family home. It does have in-law potential as well too, and it's got a nice big fenced-in backyard. And this is going to be a house that, when we talk about tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 homes, it's right there. It's at the top of that tier 1 home.
Okay.
Too as well. So this is an opportunity on North Warren.
Big backyard.
Yeah, this is an opportunity on North Warren Ave that will be coming available in the early springtime. And it's a great location. Has a lot of history and has a lot of great additions to it as well over the last few years. So we'll look forward to going to the market here in the springtime with this one.
A couple coming in the spring.
Yeah.
So let's keep the Woburn trend going. What are we seeing as shifts in trends? I know you said the tier 1 home has maybe come under 500,000, which is almost non-existent so far in the first part of 2018. But what are we seeing there? Any other trends that you're seeing between the 2-3 tiers or anything like that?
Yeah, I think Woburn's actually a great indicator of what we were kind of talking about. Is we're still seeing an overwhelming amount of demand, specifically for those first-time home buyers in the Woburn area. Woburn's has so much to offer, of course, in regards to the industry that's here in Woburn that's excelling. The location, of course, going through 95 and 93. And so for those folks that are maybe priced out of the Cambridge, Somerville, Arlington, and Winchester areas, we're seeing those renegades start shifting over to the Woburn area, and they're finding some prime real estate, which has really been driving the price up too as well. And I'm still seeing that in the first tier as well too.
Okay.
If you're a seller with a house, around 500,000 or less, I can't tell you, this is still a great time to buy right now. I mean, to sell your property right now. At the same time, Woburn still has not hit its max potential. And so if you're a buyer too as well, and you're looking 5, 10, 15 years down the road, this is a safe investment with this area too as well. We are definitely seeing a little bit more saturation in tier 2 and tier 3, but I think that comes with the seasonal side of things as well too.
You think? Okay.
We're in a winter market here, and all trends and all statistics point to the fact that we should still be pushing forward a little bit here in the spring, summertime in 2019.
So we're going to leave the viewers with a great buyer's guide. Is that
Oh,
fair
yes.
to say?
Yes,
Don't let me forget that point,
course,
because I know
of
there's
course.
value in the buyer's guide.
Of course, yeah. One of the many tricks we have up our sleeve and tools that we have for our clientele is our first-time home buyer guide, actually, which is not just a first-time home buyer guide. I say first-time home buyer guide, but I say it because mostly the first-time home buyers are the ones that always ask me for a digital copy. But I really want to point out the fact that whether or not you're a first-time home buyer, second-time, or third-time home buyer, we'd be more than happy to send you a digital copy of this. I think it's beneficial to help you understand what the real estate process is like from start to finish, and some of the new trends that have happened in this past real estate cycle. There are tools in there that'll help you during the home sale process and then after the home sale process. And for those that might be on a second or third home purchase, it might have been years before you last purchased a home. Some things might have changed a little bit too as well. So please reach out to us at Sean@signaturepagere.com. I'll even give you my direct number at 978-852-9456. Be more than happy to send you a signature page home buying real estate guide specifically for you.
Thank you, Sean. I know that will be a great takeaway and good tidbit. I've seen it personally. There's a lot of value there.
Thank you.
So thank you again for coming on. Anything else that you want to leave our viewers with today?
Happy holidays.
What a guy. Good to see you as always. We'll connect for another great market update, probably in the spring.
Yes.
And let us know what projects you have coming down the pipeline, because Woburn is a busy spot.
Great. I'm taking off for vacation.
All right. And thank you guys all for watching today's show with Sean Page. Remember, we all have that one life to live, so let's all do our part. I'm your host, Tyler Gates. Join us again next time for another episode of the Woburn Spotlight.